I just recently got a Bestarc plasma cutter in the mail. Let's test out the packaging. Normally I don't like to watch unboxings, but maybe this will encourage you to watch. By the way, this is an 8-foot ladder. The box arrived in great shape. Of course, you know, because Amazon puts a box over this box. So now I got 2 boxes. Let's see what we got in the box. We got some nice foam. Looks like it protected the machine well. Just like another box. Alright, that's all the goodies. Okay, here's a hose. I'm not going to use this. And we got the ground lead, which is nice and flexible. There's the pigtails for the CNC plasma table. There's your 110 little baggie with all your consumable tips and stuff. And there's the torch. It looks like a long torch. This looks like a tool for maybe the tips. I'll have to look at the manual for that. And there's the manual. Obviously, I didn't have the machine in the box. You don't think I'm that stupid. Don't answer that. Notice that there's 2 pairs, different size. This one's 43 thousandths, and then this one's 30 thousandths. So for thinner material, thicker material. Your pigtails connecting to the CNC plasma table, they're all numbered or marked for each wire, which is nice. On top of the machine is a setting chart. And inside the manual, they have the technical data. I thought you'd like to see this stuff. And here they got the CNC connection information. Before we get started putting this thing together, I'm going to take this off. Woo. This is the BTC800XP 11th generation. That's a nice screen. Let's put this thing together. It's a nice flexible ground. I like that. Nice protection cap here. Boy, those pins stick out pretty far. All right. Take it easy. There we go. Prop it up against there so I can pull it straight. Looks like the cord's 5 feet without the pigtail. The ground is 10 feet from the machine. And the torch from the machine, I don't want to pull the machine off the table, but looks like 17 foot 9 inches. One thing that looks odd to me is, you know, the torch connection here, or cable, or whatever you want to call it, it's more like a ribbon. So unraveling this is probably going to be a little different. This might route better because it is flat in the CNC plasma table, depending on which one you get. I actually like this trigger guard because you can kind of drop it and there's no way for the trigger to get activated by accident. And it's big enough so if you have gloves on, you can get 2 fingers, you know. The torch is actually good. And the other thing is, I noticed it has a flexible fitting, like right here where your wrist is. I don't know if you can see that. I feel like that probably give you less fatigue on your wrist, you know. You ain't got this big old cable hanging off your arm all the time. One of the negatives that stand out to me is this ground cable. It's pretty short. I mean, you got a 17-foot torch cable, almost 18 foot, and then you got, I can't remember what this was. And your ground cable is about half the distance. I'm probably gonna have to get an extension cord so that I can get outside the building. Besides that, I'm happy that the cable itself is really flexible. I mean, I have a much more expensive machine. This cable that came with it, but it's like really hard and it gets kinks in it. That'd be the only gripe on my other one. I sound like Goldilocks here. The cable to my more expensive plasma cutter is stiff, but the cable is the same length as the torch cable. This one has really nice soft ground wire, but the cable's too short. Before you plug it in, let's check the back of the machine. And that's the fitting, or the type of connection for your air fitting. There's your separator, or your water separator that comes with it. And I kind of like how they reinforced it to the case, so you're not just riding on the fitting itself. You know, so that's pretty sturdy. There's your connections for a CNC table. And this is your on and off breaker, or on and off switch. It's kind of like a breaker. And their fan. Okay, I'm gonna go turn it on. If you get this error code, that means your air isn't hooked up. Now it's on, and it automatically tells you, what kind of voltage or what you're plugged into, which I'm plugged into 220. Starting on the left side here, the first thing, there's a little light that says air. This is your pressure. So right now I got 81 PSI. So you hit this arrow, it'll go up to air and it'll run the air so you can adjust your airflow. It's basically simulating you pulling the trigger. So let's do that. So I want to run that up to 70. All right. Now that we know we're running at 70, let's do that again. Yep, 70, which is kind of nice. Because sometimes when you're cutting, you don't really know what your actual pressure is going to be. Coming down here, this arrow controls plate or mesh. So see the icon for mesh? Or basically expanded metal. I'm not going to be cutting any of that today, so we'll go back to plate. Go here, starting on the top right. 2T is basically, you pull the trigger, and then you let go, and it stops. So 4T, if I was to put this in 4T, you have to press the trigger to get the torch to come on, and then you can let the trigger go, and it'll be like it's locked on. And then when you want it to stop, you'd pull the trigger again, and then it would shut off. But today we're just going to use 2T. All right, the next one up is PA. That's for your pilot arc. You hit that, you can adjust how many seconds your pilot arc stays on before it shuts off. Let's see, PA, it gives you so long to adjust it, and then it's going to switch back to post airflow. So PA right now it's set at 5. It can go all the way up to 15, but we want to just keep it at 5. 5 seconds is plenty. And then it'll automatically go to post airflow. And this number is how long your airflow stays on to keep it cool at the end of your cut. So we'll set that to 10 seconds. And by the way, your air regulator, push the knob in to lock it in. I probably won't be doing that. I always leave it open so I could just adjust it without having to pull it in and out, when you got gloves on. Okay, I'm gonna be using 2T today. The fan is on, it shows you has a little light that says the fan is on, so that lets you know that's on, even though unless you have earplugs, you can pretty much hear it. And this knob right here adjusts your amps up and down. I don't know if I mentioned that. I guess let's get cutting. Make sure you grind the metal down to bare metal so your ground clamp gets a good connection. That'll stop misfires or anything like that, and it'll actually give you a better cut. Here I'm cutting 1/8" plate. I didn't change the tip to the smaller orifice, so it actually made a lot of draw. It still seemed to clean up okay. I tried it again with a smaller orifice. It seemed to be able to cut faster. And there seemed to be quite a bit less drop. This is a hardened cutting edge and at normal speed. Look at that. Looks like top sirloin steak. The broth or slag comes off pretty easy. That'd be very little cleanup right there. That's the thickest I've ever cut. I'm pretty impressed with the cutting power. I'm cutting this 1-inch round bar freehand, and I'm kind of moving all over the place, so the cut's not going to look as great. Here I'm trying to see how fast I can cut it, and you can see it sparking out the sides, so I was going too fast. But for 1-inch material, I'd say it's no problem. Obviously, you have the torch off when you do this. I'm going to change the tip to the smaller orifice because we're going to do a 110 test. So we'll just take this cap off. And you can see how big the orifice is. I don't know if you can see that in there or not. Well, that's what the tip looks like after being used. And then we're putting this smaller tip on. Oh, before I put that on, here's the tool to take the electrode out. Oh, that was in there pretty tight. You don't want to go that tight. There's the electrode. There's like a little cap here. Nothing else falls out. And it's spring loaded. I don't know if there's a sensor to know that this thing is on properly or not. All right, now I put the electrode in. I hand tighten it usually, and then maybe just get it snug so it doesn't loosen on me, but not tight. Oh yeah, put the new tip on there, put the cap back on. This guard does come off. You see the slot? It's kind of pressed on there. So I could take this off, but there's no other threads or anything like that to put a different type of drag tip on there, you know? Let me show you what that is. Hold on. This is a type of tip I'm talking about. It's from my other machine, but that does not fit on here. And of course, this would probably increase the price of the tool too. If it had a tip like this, you can do like more intricate cuts against cardboard or a stencil because it's consistent all the way around. Or whereas the other guard, if you tried to go around something, the distance here compared to the distance this way would be kind of difficult unless you twisted the torch around. That would be a kind of a nice upgrade too. But now we're just nitpicking. Okay, we're gonna hook it up to 110 on a 20 amp circuit. Got the pigtail connected. All right, you can see here it says 110. That's where we're at. And let's see if I can turn the amps up. Nope. Okay, so when you turn the amps up, it limits you to 40 amps because it knows it's hooked to 110 volt. Okay, we're gonna do 1/4 inch, so I'm gonna just leave it at 40, and it's saying between 35 and 50 PSI, so I gotta turn that down. So let me set that. All right. So now we got 40 amps. It's gonna be 50 flowing when I pull the trigger. And I'm gonna do the post air. I noticed it doesn't cool the torch off long enough, so I'm just gonna go to 15. That way the consumables will last longer. And I think that's all I gotta do is set up. Let's go cut. I think it popped the breaker. It did pop the breaker, but I mean, it was almost all the way through, so I'm going to finish the cut so you can see it. Hopefully I can finish without popping the breaker again. That was 3/8. That was actually surprising. As this machine sits right here, it's less than 1/3 of the cost of the machine that I bought 3 years ago, which is probably more expensive now. And the other machine, I still can't even hook up to a CNC plasma table, which is the destination for this machine once I get a table. At least that's the dream, right? This video was just for information purposes only. I'm not trying to sell you anything. If you are interested and you are looking for a machine that can work on a table or just in the shop that has a lot of extra power, check the description below. I will have a link to Amazon. Right now, I don't know what's going on, but I saw a $200 off coupon. Yeah, it's worth checking out. At the time of this video, I noticed on Amazon they had a $200 off coupon. So if you need something like this, right now it looks like the time. I want to thank Ming over at Bestarc for sending me this machine and giving me the opportunity to show this machine on the channel. As always, thanks for watching and keep it on the sunny side.